Good afternoon, everyone. So, welcome to BYJU'S exam prep. My name is Navin, and today we'll be looking at CAT 2023 Slot 1 LRDI answer sheet. So, we will be looking at the sets, and we will see how to solve those sets quickly and understand the sets. So, Slot 1 LRDI was on the moderate difficult side, and out of 4 sets, 1 set was extremely difficult because of the language. The language was quite ambiguous. Thankfully, the response sheet that I am solving, that particular set was the last one, so that I will not have to go to the most difficult set in the beginning. So we will be solving the first 3 sets, and then we will look at the last set. So let's begin. So the first set, faculty members in a management school can belong to one of the 4 departments: finance and accounting, FA, marketing and strategy, M&S, operations and quants, ONQ, and behavior and human resources, B&H. The numbers of faculty members in FA, MS, OQ and BH departments are 9753. Professor P, Q, R and S are 4 members of the school's faculty who were candidates for the post of dean of the school. Only one of the candidates was from ONQ. Every faculty member, including the 4 candidates, voted for the post. In each department, all the faculty members who were not candidates voted for the same candidate. The rules for the election are listed below. First is there cannot be more than 2 candidates from a single department. So maximum 2 allowed. So 0, 1, 2. Second is a candidate cannot vote for himself or herself. And the third one is faculty members cannot vote for a candidate from their own department. After the election, it was observed that Professor P received 3 votes, Q received 14, R received 6, S received 1 vote. Professor P voted for R, Q voted for S, R voted for Q, and S voted for P. So what is this all about? So this is about, suppose there is a department. Let's take up a department, let's say FA. Now, FA has a total of 9 members. Okay, so let's denote this by these dots: 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Out of these 9 members, maybe none of them, maybe one of them, or maybe 2 of them have applied for the post of dean. Okay, so you may have either 0, 1 or 2 candidates from here. Suppose there are 2 candidates from here. So these 2 candidates cannot vote for himself or herself. So these 2 people will not vote for themselves. Okay. Also, these all 9 members, okay, including the candidates, they cannot vote for their own department. So they can't vote for F&A. So if these 2 candidates are here, and if you talk about the remaining 7, these 7 may have voted for some particular other department, and these 2 candidates also must have voted for some other department, or maybe all 9 of them voted for the same department. So the main part is, out of the 9 candidates, there is not a breakup कि 9 में से 4 उनको vote कर दिया, 5 किसी और को. That's not going to happen. Whenever they are going to vote, all these 9 candidates are going to vote for the same department. Sorry, the members, the remaining 7 are going to vote for the same department, and these 2 for the same department. Same, they may be same, they may not be. Okay, but they will not vote for their own department. Okay. And why we have taken 0, 1 or 2 candidates? So members अलग है, candidates अलग है. Candidates वो हैं जो बोले कि मैं election लड़ूंगा, और members वो लोग हैं जो कि follow कर रहे हैं, the people who are not contesting. Okay, the people who are going to vote, right? After the voting process, it is known that ये professors को इतने सारे votes मिले. Now, if you look at the questions now. Question is, which 2 candidates can belong to the same department? Which of the following can be the number of votes? If Professor Samuel belongs to B and H, then what happens? What best can be concluded? And the last one is, which of the following statements these are true? So सारे questions dubious है. Dubious as in there is nothing concrete about it, right? Every question is about can, what is the best can be concluded, if this happens then what happens, how many of them are true. So ये हमें बताता है कि whatever we are going to solve is not going to be definite. We will have at least 2 cases. Caselet वाला question है, right? Okay. So how are we going to solve this? Let me see if you guys can see this. नहीं, मेरे को अपने आप को hide करना पड़ेगा. Okay. Yeah, good afternoon, Suchanda. Okay. एक सेकेंड देना. हाँ. So the numbers of faculty members in these departments are 9, 7, 5 and 3. And then we have got Professor P, Q, R, S are 4 members of the school's faculty who were candidates. And only one of the candidates was from O and Q. So हमें ये सारे पता है. अब हमें पता करना है कि see, there are certain number of people in every department and about the voting process, these many people voted. तो इसको हम लोग ना ऐसे कर लेते हैं कि suppose these are the professors P, Q, R and S. And how many votes did they get? So P received 3 votes, Q received 14, R received 6 and S received 1. And we will draw 2 columns. एक होगा जो कि वोट इन्हें मिले हैं by candidates and next one is by members of a department, right? Maybe candidate and members, they both voted for P, or maybe only candidate voted for P while the member did not vote for P. ठीक है? Okay. अब last part पे आते हैं कि प्रोफेसर P voted for प्रोफेसर R. So R के ये 6 वोट में से एक वोट प्रोफेसर P का है. प्रोफेसर Q voted for प्रोफेसर S. So S को वोट करने वाला Q है. प्रोफेसर R voted for Professor Q. So R voted for Q and S voted for P. So S voted for P. So we can see that every member here turns out to be they voted for different members. Now S को total 1 votes मिलने चाहिए थे, out of which 1 vote of Q is already there. That means no member voted for him or her, right? S is Samuel, so it's him. Next, we have got S, R and P. Ab we need 2 more votes for P. We need 13 more from Q. We need 5 more from R and 0 from S. Okay, ये हमारा table है. And we also know that we have got the first department is F and A. The next department is मैं and नहीं लिखता हूँ, ठीक है? So let's write FA. We have got MS, we have got OQ, and we have got BH. These are the 4 departments. They have 9, 7, 5, and 3 total people. ठीक है? Now it is given that एक member ये OQ से है. This is definite, right? So if one person is out of 5 people, if one is a candidate, then there are 4 members. Out of 5, there are 4 members who are going to vote and one is a candidate. So if you talk about, this is the members we are talking about. और ये dot जो है ये candidate के लिए. Okay. Now this 4 can go to either Q or R, right? क्योंकि all these 4 people of department OQ will vote to one guy only. अगर ये चारों P को वोट करते हैं तो 2 ही वोट्स चाहिए और so these 4 people did not vote to P. They voted to either Q or R, right? Okay. Next, if you look at BH, if you look at FA के 9 votes हैं. These 9 votes or these 9 members will vote for only Q, assuming that all 9 are members. इस 9 में से suppose if there is one candidate, so 8 पूरा का पूरा इधर जाएगा. Similarly, the remaining if there are 2 candidates, तो 7 के 7 क्यू को जाएंगे. So no matter what happens, इस 13 में से we will have FAK votes. And how many votes? That we don't know. Now FAK, whether there are 7 votes, 8 votes or 9 votes, ये सारे के सारे अगर क्यू को जाएंगे, they will not add up to give us 13. That tells us कि एक और डिपार्टमेंट है. That's why I have written a plus. How many votes of FA? We don't know that. ठीक है? Okay. So we don't know FA के कितने हैं. Next part is if we look at MS. MS के 7 votes, 7 members in total. Out of these 7 members, suppose there is nobody. Okay? जो कि आपको कैंडिडेट है. So all these 7 are members. If these all 7 are members, they can only vote to Q. Right? तो मुझे 13 के लिए I need another 6. And if I need another 6, तो 6 तो कहीं से नहीं आ पाएगा. Because if I say FA से 6 आए, तो FA से 3 members आ जाएंगे. But you cannot have more than 2 candidates. Right? So FA के नहीं हो सकता. So that tells us MS cannot be a 7, right? So MS का एक member candidate तो है. So if this turns out to be 6, right? तो MS का ये अगर हम 6 कर देते हैं, so we will need 7. So if we need 7, so FA के 2 हो जाएंगे and so that we get 7 members. तो FA के ये 7 members voted for Q and MS के 6 members voted for Q. That means OQ के 4 members voted for whom? Obviously R. अगर OQ के 4 होंगे तो बाकी एक कहां से होगा? You can't break up BH के एक, right? That's not possible. So MS का 0 candidate not possible, 1 candidate not possible. So MS के 2 candidates if there are, so that means 5 members exist. So MS के these 5 votes can directly go to R alone or it can go to Q, right? So we have 3 such candidates. Now if I need a 13, 9 plus 5 will not give me a 13. 8 plus 5 can give me a 13. If this is 8, 8 plus 5 is 13. That means the 4th candidate is from FA. That means there is no candidate from BH. Now this 3 cannot go anywhere. And even if it goes, ये 2 कौन complete करेगा? So looking at the 2 members who voted for P, we know that कि मेरे को एक 2 चाहिए. और ये 2 जो है, this 2 can only come from BH. That means there is 1 candidate from BH. And that means there is no candidate from FA. Such that we can make 2 from BH. We can make 5 from MS. We can make 13 by adding 9 from FA and 4 from AQ. Right? So there was no member from any of the 4 departments who voted for S. Out of 3 members of BH, 1 is a candidate of BH and the remaining 2, they are the regular members who voted for P. Similarly for Q, total 14 votes it needed. 1 vote was from R. The remaining 13 votes में से 9 votes was completely from FA department. जिधर एक भी candidate नहीं था. All the 9 people were members. And 4 were from OQ. 4 votes were from OQ. जिधर OQ में 5 में से एक candidate था. Similarly for R, 1 out of 6 votes of R, 1 vote was from P. बाकी 5 votes MS से आएंगे. ठीक है? So logically what we had to understand here was कि you need a 2 and you can't get a 2 except from BH. Right? So एक candidate BH का आएगा, एक candidate OQ का आएगा. Now the remaining 2 candidates, either they can be distributed as 2, 0, 1, 1 or 0, 2. In either case, we won't be able to fill 5 candidates. अब ये 5 तो केवल 7 से बन सकता है ना, 7 से 5 बन सकता है. That means 2 candidates are there from MS department. So this was the critical part of the understanding of the question. Now because once this table is done, we can move ahead. पर उससे पहले हम ये भी देख लेते हैं कि कौन हो सकते हैं वो. So MS के कौन हो सकते हैं? Those two people. Can they be P? Yes. See, P voted for S. So P and S are definitely not in the same department. Similarly, Q voted for R. Sorry, R voted for Q. S voted for P and R voted for Q. So R and Q also cannot be from the same department. Similarly, P and R cannot be from the same department. Similarly, Q and S cannot be from the same department. So अगर आप देखोगे तो R को MS के people ने vote करा है, right? So R cannot be from MS, right? So R is going to be one among OQ or BH. R इन दोनों में से कोई एक है, right? Now, S received one vote, right? And this was a vote from Q. So definitely Q and S are not from the same department. अब R को one vote जो मिला है, that vote could be from MS का एक बंदा और it could be from OQ or BH का एक बंदा, depending upon R is from BH or OQ. Now, if you look at P and Q, they did not receive votes from MS. That means they are from MS department. अब R और S इन दोनों में से कोई एक होगा. I'll repeat the logic. P and Q, they did not receive votes from MS department. Remember, members of a department cannot vote a candidate from their own department, right? And MS is already voting for R. So it's going to be P or Q who can be from MS department, and R and S, they are going to be one each from OQ and BH. So first question is, which two candidates can belong to the same department? It turns out that एक एक करके चेक करते हैं. P and Q, can they be there? Yes. P and S, no. क्योंकि आप इधर देखो, S ने P को वोट करा है तो वो सेम डिपार्टमेंट के तो एनीवेज नहीं होने. R and S, डेफिनेटली नो, बिकॉज R को MS ने करा है तो S कैन नॉट बी फ्रॉम द डिपार्टमेंट MS, so R कैन नॉट बी, राइट? तो ये भी नहीं होगा. Q and R, डेफिनेटली नो, बिकॉज R voted for Q. तो ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है कि R और Q सेम डिपार्टमेंट के? तो ये भी नहीं हो सकता. So we're left with P and Q. Only one option left. Next, which of the following can be the number of votes that Professor Qureshi received from a single department? So Q को single department से vote 9 या 4 मिल सकते हैं, right? Let's see. 4 is not there, so 9 will be the answer. Next, if Professor Samuel belongs to B and H, so Professor Samuel, so S belongs to B and H. So S अगर इधर है तो R OQ में होगा, right? Then which of the following statements is or true? P belongs to MS. P belongs to MS, ये तो true है. And R belongs to OQ. This is also true. So we can say that both statements are true. Next, what best can be concluded about the condition from OQ? From OQ, can we say it is either R or S? So it is either R or S, first option. Next, which of the following statements is or are true? Non-candidates from MS, that is members from MS, voted for Q. MS के जो members हैं उन्होंने R को vote करा है, Q को नहीं करा है. So that would mean this is false. And non-candidates from FA voted for Q. So non-candidates from FA voted for Q. This is true. Q को vote FA से आया था, 9 votes of FA. So second statement is true. So we can say only statement B is true. So you can see that this set was not difficult. The explanation took some time. Otherwise, this was solvable within 15 minutes. Let's look at the next set now. The schematic diagram below shows 12 rectangular houses in a housing complex. House numbers are mentioned in the rectangles presented in the houses. So A1, B1, C1, ये सारे house numbers हैं. The houses are located in 6 columns, column A through column F. So this is column A, B, C, D, E, F. And 2 rows. This is row 1, this is row 2. It's mentioned. The blocks are divided into 2 blocks, block XX and block YY. The diagram also shows 2 roads. So this is one road, this is another road. In front of the houses in row 2, another between the 2 blocks. So the first paragraph is about the clear explanation as to what this diagram depicts. Next, we have these conditions. One second. Some of the houses are occupied. The remaining ones are vacant and are the only ones available for sale. So दो तरह के houses है. एक occupied है, people are already staying, and the other ones are vacant, which are for sale. So vacant bolo, sale bolo, same thing, and then we have got occupied. So occupied and sale, O and S. The road adjacency value, so this is something RAV ले लेते हैं, of a house is the number of its sides adjacent to a road. For example, the road adjacency values of C2 is 2. So C2 के आजू बाजू में 2 roads हैं. So इसकी value 2 है. What about F2? F2 there is only one road beneath it. So its adjacency value is 1. And if you talk about B1, B1 के आजू बाजू road नहीं है. So there is no adjacency value. Right? So that is road adjacency value, RAV. The neighbor count of a house is the number of sides of that house, of that house adjacent to occupied houses in the same block. So occupied means people are staying, of course, right? For example, E1 can have a maximum occupancy. Occupancy है क्या term है? Neighbor count, sorry. So E1 has a can have a maximum neighbor count of 3. जरूरी नहीं है तीनों रह रहे, पर maximum neighbor count 3 हो सकता है. ठीक है? Similarly, we have for C1. If we look at C1, its neighbor count is going to be 2. ठीक है? तो अगर देखा जाए, so A1, C1, A2, C2, D1, D2, F1, F2. These are the 8 houses whose neighbor count will be, maximum neighbor count is going to be 2. It can be 0, it can be 1, it can be 2. Right? 2 हो सकता है. And B1, B2, E1, E2, their maximum neighbor count can be 3. So in general, the maximum, the neighbor count of a house can be 0, 1, 2 or 3. 3 middle वाले columns के लिए and up to 2 corner edges वाले, left and right edges of each block के लिए. Okay. The base price of a vacant house is rupees 10 lakhs if the house does not have a parking space and rupees 12 lakhs if it does. So a parking space है कि नहीं वो देखना है. The quoted price of a vacant house, as in the house for sale, is calculated as base price plus 5 times road adjacency value plus 3 times neighbor count. So we have already seen that the neighbor count की जो value होगी वो हमारी 0, 1, 2, 3 हो सकती है. And road adjacency value. So how many, I mean the house is adjacent to how many roads? So A1 is 0, B1 is 0, C1 is 1, A2 is 1, B2 is 1, C2 is 2. So इसी का mirror image है, तो जो values इधर होंगे वही values बाजू में होंगे, right? We do not have road to the left and right. It's only a inverted T shape, right? So we can say that road adjacency value can be only 0, 1 or 2. इससे ज़्यादा नहीं जा सकते. Okay. 10 lakhs without parking, and with parking it's 12. The following information is also known. The maximum quoted price of a house in block X is rupees 24. The minimum quoted price in block Y is rupees 15. Row 1 has 2 occupied houses, 1 in each block, and so on and so forth. ठीक है? So everything is here. I will need some space for calculation, so I will hide myself. Okay. Maximum quoted price of a house in block X is rupees 24 lakhs. So 24 lakhs के लिए we will need the so ऐसे लिख देता हूँ मैं formula. Quote price is equal to base price plus 5 times RAV plus 3 times NC. ठीक है? So 24 lakhs हमें बनाना है. So let's start with base price as 10. Plus 5 times RAV. Now we have seen that RAV can be only 0, 1 or 2 and NC can be 0, 1, 2 or 3, right? 24 हमें इसका यूज करके बनाना है. अच्छा, before we look at the cases, let's look at the other conditions कि कुछ eliminate हो सकता है कि नहीं. Row 1 has 2 occupied houses, 1 in each block. So इधर में हमें 2 occupied दिखने चाहिए और 4 सेल दिखने चाहिए. ठीक है. Third statement, both houses in column E are vacant. So this is for sale, both of them. Each of column D and column F has at least one occupied house. So which one is occupied? I don't know. So एक occupied, एक sale या दोनों occupied, right? So we will try to remember this because there is no way we can represent it. Next, there is only one house with parking space in block Y. So block Y में केवल एक ही घर है जिसमें parking space है. That doesn't mean कि parking space doesn't exist in block X. ठीक है, we will try to remember this also. Okay, let's come back to this. So we need a 10 से अगर शुरू करेंगे so we will need a 24. That would mean we will need another 14. Now for a 14, we can have 10 plus 5 plus 3 into 3. या मैं इसको 5 into 1 लिख देता हूँ. So 5 plus 9 is 14, right? So we can make a 24 out of here. Is there any other way to make this? No. What if we start with 12? If you start with 12, so we will need another 12. If we need another 12, तो 12 जो है हमारा 5 plus 7 नहीं हो सकता, 10 plus 2 नहीं हो सकता. So this is 5 into 0, so we will need 12, so 3 into 4, but 4 doesn't exist. 4 neighbors तो किसी के नहीं है. So can we say 24 lakhs जो maximum है, this is only applicable when we consider this particular scenario. So this is a house which is up for sale, right? Which has got one RAV. One RAV means it is either A2 or C1, A2, B2 or C1. And then it has got 3 neighbor count. 3 neighbor count matlab B2. So we can say that B2 has a 24 lakh ka, excuse me, different color marker ले लेता हूँ. So 24 और ये हमारा सेल के लिए, right? Okay. What about others? So they are supposed to be less than that. Since this has got 3 3 neighbors, that means this one is occupied, this one is occupied, this one is occupied. And using second point, row 1 has 2 occupied houses, 1 in each block. That means these 2 are for sale. So we can calculate actually each house worth. ये दोनों सेल के लिए depending upon parking है कि नहीं. ठीक है. Now we needed 2 occupied and 4 sales. Right now we have 1 occupied already done, and we are done with 3 sales. So again, 1 occupied and 1 sale will go to either D1 or F1. ये हमें guarantee नहीं है. Let's look at the next one. The minimum quoted price of a block in YY is rupees 15 lakhs. So how can we make 15 lakhs? So 15 lakhs we can make is by taking 10. So मैं इसको ना ऐसे लिख देता हूँ. So 24 is equal to, और ये मेरा quoted price का value के साथ formula है. So 10 is already there. Suppose there is no parking. And I need another 5. So that 5 can be with 5 into 1 plus 3 into 0. So that tells us कि ये जहां भी रहता है, whichever house this is, there is one adjacent road, so that can be D1 or F2, and there are no neighbors around it. So if I take D1 for sale and there are no neighbors around it, तो ये हो जाएगा और ये हमारा occupied हो जाएगा, right? F2 may be occupied, it may not be occupied, right? हो भी सकता है और नहीं भी हो सकता है. It may be occupied or for sale. So this is when D1 is for sale. What if F2 is for sale? क्योंकि ये D1 भी हो सकता है और ये F2 भी हो सकता है. If F2 is for sale, so this is for sale, there are no neighbors around it, so the occupied one could be एक D1 हो जाएगा for sure, and D2 may be occupied or for sale, right? So we are getting two cases here. Now parking space का तो हम और कुछ नहीं कर सकते, ठीक है? So कैसे डिनोट करें इनको? So let's use a different color marker. So let's use D1 के लिए yellow, so that this is up for sale. So this is up for sale. So this is occupied. This may be occupied or for sale. And let's use the pink one for F2. So if F2 is up for sale, that means this is up for sale. This is going to be definitely occupied, and this may be occupied or for sale. Okay, next scenario. Can we make 15 using 12 plus 5 into 0 plus 3 into 1? 12 plus 3 is 15. So ये हमें बता रहा है कि पार्किंग स्पेस है, इसकी जो RAV वैल्यू है, रोड साइड नहीं है ये. So if this is not on the road side, it's going to be F1 or E1, right? And there is one neighbor. There is one neighbor. So again, same logic. We can say that if it is F1, तो उसका neighbor जो है वो हमारा F2 हो सकता है. And if it is E1, then its neighbor may be D1 or F1. So the cases will not change. It will remain as such. So 15K, we have two possibilities. Now, let's look at the questions. How many houses are vacant in block X? So if we look at block X, how many houses are up for sale? 3. So answer हो जाएगा इसका 3. Next, which of the following houses is definitely occupied? A1, definitely not occupied. F2, maybe, may not be. D2, maybe, may not be. So B1 has to be definite. Let's confirm this. B1 is occupied, right? It's O here. Next, which of the following options best describes the number of vacant houses in row 2? Vacant as in sale के लिए. So sale के लिए you can see that we can have one. एक तो ये है, एक ये है. So it's going to be 2 or it's going to be 3, right? क्योंकि अब इधर में occupied कौन सा है और नहीं है वो हमें नहीं पता ना. So how many of the following describes the number of vacant houses? So it's going to be either 2 or 3. Okay. इसको पार्ट को erase कर देते हैं. Next, what is the maximum possible quoted price for a vacant house in column E? Column E में maximum possible क्या हो सकता है इन दोनों सेल्स का? ठीक है. So maximum possible के लिए, if I take this E2 as see, this is E2, it cannot have more than 2 occupied, right? एक ही occupied होगा इसका. Sorry, एक ही occupied, as in it is going to be on the roadside. So if I prefer E2 because that will definitely increase it by 5, and then the number of occupants or the number of houses that have neighbors can be at most 2. क्योंकि if I take E2 तो E1 तो definitely sale के लिए है, so we can have D2 or F2, right? दोनों कर लेते हैं, हमें maximize करना है, so we'll have 2 times 3 and we can have a 10. But how do we know कि वो parking space है नहीं? So we need to find out where does the parking space exist. Is it E2 or is it not? So it is given that there is only one house with parking space in block Y. So if we take 10, 5 and 3, so 5 would mean कि ये road side है. So it could be F2, E2 or D1. E2 का price भी हो सकता है बिल्कुल ये. If it is D1, there are no occupants beside it and one occupant has to be there, so it is going to be F1. F2 may or may not be occupied. Okay, so since this statement says each of column D and column F has at least one occupied space, and मैं अगर इसको हटा दूं, and if I say that D1 has D1 house is for sale, I'm talking about ये वाला combo. Roadside है, only one roadside and no occupants beside it. So if D1 is for sale, then E1 and D2 are also for sale. That would mean कि ये occupied house नहीं मिल रहा, right? So that would mean we can't have this. 12, 5 into 0 plus 3 into 1. If this happens, so 12, 5 into 0 would mean it's not adjacent to any road. So it's going to be E1 or F1. Now, if I take E1, then we need one occupant here. So we can have an occupant here. So this is going to be for sale, or if we have an occupant here, we are going to have sale from here, right? And it is in column E. Three into 0 means there are no. Okay, so I missed this part, that one such house is in column E. This part was missed. So काम करते हैं. Let's look at 15, and 15 is supposed to be from column E, and we know that column E there is both the houses are vacant. So if both the houses are vacant, so if we talk about E1, can we make a 15? So it's going to be 10 plus not beside any road plus 3 into 1. That means one occupant. So we can have an occupant here. So we will have up for sale here, or if we have up for sale here, so we'll have an occupant here, right? Now, if this is up for sale though, so this is going to be occupied for sure. And if this is up for sale, this is going to be occupied for sure. ठीक है? और हमें इसका नहीं पता, occupied है तो ये कुछ भी हो सकता है. Remember, D and F, they both have at least one occupied house. So इसीलिए, if F is up for sale, so F1 is up for sale, so F2 has to be occupied. Okay, what if we take E2? If we take E2, so that is going to give us, sorry, 10 नहीं था, ये 12 था. If we take up E2, so 15 के लिए, I can write this as 10 plus 5 into 1 plus 3 into 0. So for E2, what will happen is, if I consider this for sale, so there is no parking space, it is beside the road and there are no houses. So this is definitely for sale. This is definitely for sale. That means they both are definitely occupied. Okay, so this is something we can't take. क्योंकि we need only 2 occupied in row 1. We get 3 occupied. 1 in block X and 2 in block Y. So this part is not possible. So this is eliminated. So we get that E1 has the parking 1. 12 है उसके पास. Okay. Now let's look at the questions again. How many houses are vacant in block X? That doesn't change because we changed things in block Y. Which of the following houses is definitely occupied? B1 was again from block X. Won't change anything. Which of the following options best describes in row 2 about vacant houses? So we can have 1S here, 2S here, and a third S from D or F. So it's going to be 2 or 3. Okay. What is the maximum quoted price for a vacant house in column E? So column E mein we have already seen 15 is 1. What about E2? Now, if you look at E2, E2 cannot have a 12, right? So this is going to have a 10 plus roadside hone ke karan ye, plus we can have both of them occupied, right? So दोनों को occupy करेंगे तो बढ़ जाएगा. So this is going to be 3 into 2. So this is 10 plus 5 plus 6. तो ये 21 आ रहा है. दोनों occupy करवा दो. सामने तो E1 occupied नहीं है. Because of roadside 5 into 1 and 10 is the best price because parking का 12 इधर है E1 में. So 21. Which house in block Y has parking space? So हमने अभी अभी देखा वो E1 है. Okay, the next one. Five restaurants coded R1, R2, R3, R4, R5. Is everything visible? थोड़ा सा मैं इसको ना थोड़ा फॉर्मेट ठीक कर देता हूँ. Hope now it is visible. Okay, so 5 restaurants coded R1 to R5 give integer ratings to 5 gig workers U, V, W, X and Y on a scale of 1 to 5. The means means average of the ratings given by R1 to R5 were 3.4, 2.2, 3.8, 2.8, 3.4 respectively. So इसी sequence में. The summary stats of these ratings for the 5 workers is given below. Mean मतलब average of these 5 people. Median means middle value. 5 में से सबसे बीच वाला. Modal rating as in that number that you see most number of times. Range of rating. Range is calculated as the maximum number minus the smallest number. So the difference of maxima and minima. It is already given. The following is partial information about ratings of 1 and 5 awarded by the restaurants to the workers. R1 awarded rating of 5 to W as did R2 to X and R3 to W and X and so on. So this is a pretty simple set. If you have done mean, median and mode before, there is no formula to be brought in here. आपको थोड़ा सा hit and trial करना है. How to represent this now? So we have 5 restaurants and we have got 5 gig workers. So the restaurant people are going to give some rating to gig workers and gig workers receive those ratings. So मेरे को एक 5 by 5 का table बनाना पड़ेगा, matrix, right? So it's going to look like this. So again, I'll hide myself. The important information is here. Now, which one is going to be the restaurant, the rows or the columns, and which ones are going to be gig workers, the columns or the rows? It doesn't matter. ठीक है, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. तो अपन एक काम करते हैं, ये जो U है इसको कॉपी कर लेते हैं, U, V, W, X and Y, and restaurants को R1, R2, R3, R4 and R5. Now do remember, ये जो average है, this is total ratings given by the restaurants divided by 5, and these averages or these means are the total ratings received by the gig workers divided by 5. एज इन अगर अपन टोटल की बात करेंगे कि कितना इनको पॉइंट्स मिले हैं, सो एवरेज पे कभी काम नहीं करना चाहिए, है ना, टोटल कर लेना चाहिए। सो मैं काम करता हूँ, I'll write total below, नीचे लिख देता हूँ। So this will also denote total and the other side also will denote total. ठीक है, अब इसमें फिल करना शुरू करते हैं। R1 total average is 3.4, so total will be 3.4 into 5, 34 का half, so this is 17 that we will have इधर। R2 का 2.2 into 5, 22 का half, so 11, 38 का half 19, 28 का half 14, 34 का half 17। ठीक है, ये टोटल है हमारा। व्हाट अबाउट वर्कर वाइज कि यू को टोटल कितना मिला था, सेम लॉजिक, 2.2 into 5 is 22 का half which is 11, v will get 38, w will get 34 का half, 36 का half and 26 का half. So we are done with the mean part. Next comes in the median, middle value. तो मेरे को 11 बनाना है 5 नंबर्स से, ठीक है, and those 5 numbers should have 2 as the middle value. So let's write down a little smaller for this. So u, v, w, x and y. Okay, ठीक है। So median is 2, so middle number 2 है। Range is 3, so range is going to be 1, तो ये 4 हो जाएगा। So far we have is 7. We need another 4. So another 4 we can have is by taking 2 such that the mode is also 2. Right? So 1 triple 2 4 हो सकता है ये। If I try to change these first 2 to 1, then the last 2 will become 3 and the mode won't remain 2. So this is the only way to make 11. Next, we need to make not 38, sorry, this should have been 19. 19 बनाना है हमें, जहां पर middle value is 4, mode is 4, मतलब एक और 4 तो है, and range is 3. If I take the range as 3, तो अगर इसको 1 इसको 4 ले लिया, that would mean all the values are 4. But this will give us a total of 17. मेरे को 19 चाहिए. So if I need 19, I will change 1 and 4 both and I will make them as 2 and 5. Right? Pretty simple. Thankfully एक ही केस बन रहे हैं इनके अभी तक। वामन की बात करें, we need a 17 here and the median is 4, mod is 5 कि मतलब 2 5 तो चाहिए। So this is 14 so far. I need a 3 more. अब 3 तो केवल भाई 1 और 2 से आ सकता है because 0 तो allowed नहीं है that I can take 0 and 3. Right? Okay. Let's look at 18. So the median is 4. Mod is 5. यानी कि 5 दो बार होना चाहिए. This is a total of 14 so far. I need an 18. So 18 के लिए I can take a 1 and 3. Or I can take a 2 and 2. Since the range is 4, so definitely 1 and 3 लेना पड़ेगा. So that range 4 का है. Okay. Next, I need a 13 where we have mode as 1 and 4. So if we have 1, 2 1 चाहिए और 2 4 चाहिए. So this is so far 10. So that means the third number is 3. And it also gives us median as 3. So this completely makes sense कि 2 1 1 3 और double 4 चाहिए. Okay, now which values should go where? It's going to be very difficult because I need to put them the values in such a way कि column wise it should give us 11, row wise it should give us a 17. That's why we have certain statements here that R1 awarded a rating of 5 to W as did R2 to Xavier, R3 to W and Xavier, and R5 to Vasu. So we can see that the 5s are taken care of using statement A. Let's look at statement B. R1 awarded a rating of 1 to Ullas, as did R2 to Vaman and Yusuf, and R3 to Yusuf. So, हमें ये partial information हमें पता है. So that would mean this one is taken from here, this one is taken from here, and the 2 ones are taken from here. Okay. Now, we can have 2 and 4 from Vaman in any order. We can have a 2, we can have a 4, or we can have a 4, we can have a 2. मतलब आप कोई भी order लिख लो. So I'm going to write it like this: 2, 4, and 4, 2. We will try to see कि we will have cases या different बनेगा. Okay, next let's look at 11. Out of 11, so far we have a 7, so we will need a 4. 4 के लिए 2 ही बन सकता है ये, from what we have from U and V. So 1, 2 is taken and 1, 2 is taken. The moment the 2 2s are taken, V wala, the entire column will be filled up with the 4s. कोई और चारा नहीं है. Okay, let's look at 19 now. R3 ka. This is so far 5, 5 and a 5, 15. So we need 19, so another 4 is required. So 4 is taken. That means ये जो दो 2s हैं ये इधर fill कर देंगे. Okay. Next is if we look at R4. नहीं, R1 देखते हैं क्योंकि R1 is definite. If you look at R1, this is so far 10. We need a 17. If we need a 17, so we will have a combination of either 3 to either 4, या फिर either 4 to either 3. Right? Next, if we look at so a 3 or a 4 is gone from both. I mean, if we take them together, right? Okay. If we need 13 here, so 13 के लिए, suppose if I take a 3, so ये 13 देगा. 3, 4, 5. And 4 and a 4. If I take a 4 and a 4, तो ये possible नहीं है. Okay, what if I take if we talk about 18 here? If I take 18 here, we can have, if 3 is taken, we can have 1 and a 4. And if 4 is taken, we can have 1 and a 3. अगर थोड़ा सा हम देखें, see, R4 is smaller than R5, right? So the higher value should definitely go here. So if I take 2 plus 5, 7, I need another 10. And for a 10, I can have 1 and 4 will not give me. 3 and 4 will not give me. So that is the 7. 3 चाहिए मेरे को. So if this is 7 plus 2, 9 so far, so I will need another 8. And if I take a 4, this is going to be 11 so far, I will need a 6. So that is not possible, right? If I take 2, 5 and 4, that is 11. मेरे को 17 चाहिए, तो मेरे को 6 चाहिए. And I can't make a 6 apart from by taking 3, 3. If both the 3s are utilized, R1 में 3 तो लगेगा नहीं. So we can't have an 11. If we can't have an 11, that means this can't be 4. So we will have 4 and 2 here. Okay. Now, once we have 4 and 2, so this is a total of 9. We will need 17, and 17 can only be formed by taking 4 and 4. 9 plus 8 is 17. So that means the 4 is taken here, a 4 is taken here. So that means we can only have a 3 here. And if we have a 3 here, that means we will only have a 4 here. So another 4 is taken and the 3 is taken. That means we will have a 1 left over, और ये 3 इधर आ जाएगा. So the grid is complete. We can start solving the questions. How many individual ratings cannot be determined from the above information? किसका हम नहीं determine कर सकते, सबका कर सकते. So the answer is going to be 0. To how many workers did R2 give a rating of 4? R2 ने 4 की rating कितने लोगों को दी? किसी को भी नहीं. So to 0 workers, again a theta question. What rating did R1 give to X? So R1 gave to X a rating of 3. What is the median of the ratings given by R3 to the 5 workers? R3 gave to the 5 workers the ratings 1, 4, 4, 5, 5. So the middle value is 4. So the answer is going to be 4. Then next है, which among the following restaurants gave its median rating to exactly one of the workers? तो R1 छोड़ के R2, R3, R4, R5 में which restaurant का median rating जो भी है वो unique है, in other words, right? So if you look at R2, the median is does it say median? So R2 का median, if you talk about R2 का median is 2, but 2 is given to 2. R3 का median is 4, it is given to 2 workers. R4 का median is 1, 2, 3, 1, it is given to just 1 worker. R5 का median is 4 and it is given to 2 workers. So it's going to be R4, restaurant 4. So out of the 3 sets so far, this one was the easiest. The second easy one was, or easy to moderate one was the first two. So there are some students of ours, BYJU'S के, जिन्होंने ये तीनों sets attempt किए. They have scored more than 30. Of course, there are sometimes silly mistakes, या फिर टीटा होता है तो गलती हो जाती है. But they attempted these 3 from slot 2. Because the next set, unfortunately, is a very, very difficult one because the language is too ambiguous. Now, it says a visa processing office accepts visa applications in 4 categories: US, UK, Schengen, and others. The applications are applied for processing in 15-minute slots, starting at 9 a.m. and ending at 2 p.m. So 20 slots हैं और वो 15 minutes each के. ठीक है? So if we have 20 slots of 15 minutes each, so that is 20 into 15, which will result in 300 minutes. And if you look at 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., this is a total of 5 hours, and 5 hours is 300 minutes, right? And 10 applicants are there in each slot. So 20 slots हैं, 20 slots में से 10 applicant इस slot में है, 10 applicant इस slot में है, and so on. तो इसको visualize करने के लिए, in order to understand what this is talking about, let's talk about slot number 1, 2, 3, and so on, and 20. The number of applicants is 10 in each. मतलब 10 लोग खड़े होंगे इधर, 10 लोग खड़े होंगे. Okay, throughout. Now, there are 10 counters in the office, 4 dedicated to US applications and 2 each for UK applications. Now, Schengen applications and other applications. So, total 10 counters here. So, visualize that there are these 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 counters. इसमें से 4 counters are for US, 2 are for UK, Schengen visa के लिए 2 and others के लिए 2. Okay. Now these are the counters, not necessarily that every counter is going to work. Normal आप एकदम real life scenario लेके चलो, right? अब क्या है कि if you look at the timing कि 9 to 9:15 15 मिनट का एक slot ये है. Then you have got 9:15 to 9:30, this is the next slot. Then you will have 9:30 to 9:45, this is your third slot. इस तरह से करते करते the 20th slot is going to be 1:45 to 2. आप count करके देख लो, these are 20 slots. Now each slot they have got 10 applications, राइट, दे आर स्केड्यूल्ड, मतलब लोग बोले हैं कि वो आएंगे और वो अपना करेंगे, राइट। नाउ इज इट नेसेसरी कि हर एप्लीकेशन के लिए जो स्केड्यूल हुआ है सब में लोग आए? नहीं, जरूरी नहीं है। सो 9 to 9:15 10 applicants are sitting with their applications, right? And there are 10 counters in front of them. 4 of US, 2 of UK, 2 of Shenzhen, and 2 of others. Okay. Now, applicants are called in for processing. So, processing hoti hai. Sequentially on a first come first serve basis, whenever a counter gets freed for their category. So, suppose UK ke dono counters full hai. And people, they take a token number. So somebody who has a token number of 3 and 1 and 2 are already at the counter, so token number 3 will put in. They'll go in, right? And ये जो processing है, this is on the first come first serve basis. ठीक है, जो पहले आएगा उसको counter number, उसको token number मिलेगा and that person will get in. ठीक है. So I hope everything is fine so far. Now the problem starts after this or after this statement. But it may vary across the categories. Okay, the processing time for an application is the same within each category. So if we talk about UK, a category है, right? तो उसके अंदर जो processing time है, either of the counters, the processing time is same उस application का. But it may vary across categories. So US में अगर suppose 5 मिनट लगता है, तो UK में maybe 10 minutes, Shenzhen में maybe 20 minutes, right? वो हमें नहीं पता. Each US and UK application requires 10 minutes of processing time. So US and UK का 10 minutes का हमें पता है. It's given as in. ठीक है? Depending on the number of applications in a category and time required to process an application for that category, it is possible that an applicant for a slot may be processed later. Now, this is a confusing statement. Ki suppose I'm already there. It's my turn. But because my application processing time is more than 15 minutes and there is another person waiting for his or her slot, तो क्या होगा मेरा पेपर का? Will that be left after 15 minutes and will be processed later? Later मतलब at the end of the day, tomorrow, मतलब बाद में होगा? या फिर it's like it will continue but it will get postponed beyond 10:15 और 10 o'clock और 9:30, मतलब 15 minute slot के beyond जाने वाला है, right? Because common sense says कि if there is a 50-minute slot, somebody is waiting, so obviously my processing of my application processing should get completed, whether it takes 15 minutes, less than 15 or more than 15. Then only second person turns should come in. So ये एक तरह पहला ambiguous statement है. Next. On a particular day, Ira, Vijay and Nandini were scheduled for Shenzhen visa processing in that order. So Ira came in first, then Vijay, not came in first, as in Ira का पहले होना है, फिर Vijay का होना है, फिर Nandini का होना है. They had a 9:15 AM slot. Now this is confusing. इनका 9:15 AM slot का मतलब क्या है? Because it is given very clearly that people are served as first come first serve. तो ये टाइम का स्लॉट क्या है? अगर टाइम स्लॉट है तो फर्स्ट कम फर्स्ट सर्व की क्या बात होती है इधर, राइट? बट एंटर्ड द वीपीओ एट 9:20 AM, पर वो 5 मिनट लेट आए. When they entered the office, exactly 6 out of the 10 counters were either processing applications or had finished processing one and ready to start processing the next. So 9:20 पे what is happening is, या तो किसी का एप्लीकेशन चल रहा है 10 में से 6 का, या उनका जस्ट खत्म हुआ है and they're about to start the next one, right? So we can, looking at this, we can say कि वो जो US and UK के जो 10-10 minutes के थे जिसका टाइमिंग 9:15 शुरू होना था, those are going to be they are going to be those जहां पर कि वो application is still continuing, because 9:15 plus 10 minutes is 9:25 and they entered at 9:20. So 9:20 में if they look at the US वाला counter, they will see अच्छा 9 to 9:15 में 9 पहला slot था, out of which 9 to 9:10 पहला वाला slot का वो application process हो गया. 5 मिनट के लिए खाली था counter window. Then 9:15 another person must have been called and another person must have entered, and 9:15 to 9:25 में उसका processing चल रहा था, and they entered midway. So मतलब जब ये चल रहा था तो बीच में आए वो. So they must have seen those. So ये 6 वो हो सकते हैं. Or maybe some of those are from US and UK and the remaining are from Shenzhen and others, because Shenzhen and others का जो duration है for the processing time of application, that is not mentioned. वो 8 मिनट है, वो 10 है, वो 15 है, वो 25 मिनट है, वो 1 घंटा, nothing is mentioned, right? But we are pretty sure कि 4 counters खाली थे. Mahira and Osman were scheduled in the 9:30 AM slot on that day in the others category. So looking at this कि 9:30 पे अगर उसका schedule था, तो others category की बात कर रहे हैं. So others category में कैन बी से कि वो 30 मिनट्स का भी हो सकता है, 25 का भी हो सकता है, 20 का भी हो सकता है, बट इट कैन नॉट बी 15 मिनट्स, बिकॉज हैड द प्रोसेसिंग टाइम फॉर अदर्स बिन 15 मिनट्स, तो 9:15 would have been the time they must have called. या हो सकता है 9:15 पे कोई और रहा हो, राइट? सो इट कैन बी अ 15 मिनट्स. सो अदर्स कैटेगरी का जो प्रोसेसिंग टाइम है, इट कैन बी एनीथिंग, सो नथिंग कैन बी फिगर्ड आउट फ्रॉम हियर. So following additional information is also given. All slots were full. मतलब 10 full है. Number of US applicants were same in the same slot. Same was true for other 3 categories. 50% of the applications were US applications. अब 4 counters हमारे US के हैं, 2 UK, 2 Shenzhen and 2 others. अगर मैं ये 4 ले लूं, this is 50%, तो इधर से केवल 4 होंगे. अब वो 4 कैसे breakup है? That's something we'll have to find out. All applicants, they arrived on time apart from these 3 people, and Vijay was called to a counter at 9:25. अब आप ये देखो, ईरा they entered at 9:20. ईरा को पहले जाना है, so she entered at 9:20 and Vijay was called at 9:25. If Vijay is called at 9:25, that means कि इसके पहले वाला जो बंदा है वो 9:25 में फ्री हुआ. So here we can say कि 25 minutes का आपका processing time है. But then if the processing time of others is 25 minutes, why this slot is of 15 minutes and why is it given its first come first serve basis? So these are some dubious matlab, I shouldn't use the word dubious, it's rather confusing statements. They are ambiguous statements. In the initial paragraph, it says something else. In the third paragraph, it says something else. In the third paragraph, it says something else. And in the additional information, it contradicts it. So this set is extremely ambiguous, as in no idea what to do with it. Because the question says how many UK applicants were scheduled on that day. So हमें कुछ नहीं पता चलेगा इधर से. What is the maximum possible value of total time required to process all applications in the others category on that day? अब others के बारे में हमें पता ही नहीं है कि what time they take, right? Maybe some part is missing, or maybe I'm not able to understand something, but I tried this. And since the answer key was yesterday released, I also saw that the answer for this is 0. Which means ये 4 जो हैं, ये दोनों शेंजन और अदर्स के लिए हैं, यूके का तो कोई नहीं है, बिकॉज यूएस के 4 हैं, और मे बी यूएस का 3 है और बाकी के हैं, राइट? व्हाट इज द मैक्सिमम टाइम? तो ये 200 मिनट्स इसका आंसर है. सो आई एम सेइंग व्हाट द आंसर की वाज रिलीज्ड. इवन इफ आई लुक एट द आंसर की एंड इफ आई ट्राई टू मेक सेंस आउट ऑफ इट, others may we have 2 counters and there are 10 slots. Sorry, 20 slots, and each slot have each time slot has 10 applications. तो और वो हमेशा भरा रहा नहीं, there were people all the time, right? Maybe not all the time, but how do we know कि 200 minutes is good enough? There is no relation between the time given. It's only the number of applications. Okay, so this is something that we will have to come up later after understanding what this set is trying to imply. Otherwise, this is not a set that they should have attempted. किसी ने अगर इसको शुरू करा सोचते हुए कि अरे हाँ हो जाएगा, they may have spent like 5-10 minutes, invested all of it. None of this was doable. Okay. So people who have their CAT result gone as per what they thought it will go may enroll for our other management entrance test online class for 23-24. It consists of more than 100 live sessions, more than 250 recorded lectures, more than 50 mocks, and so on. So in order to enroll for this, you can check out the description. On 9th of December at 11 a.m., Mr. Saral is going to take a session on MBA, why, how, and when. Anyone who is looking for MBA preparation 2024 onwards should attend this. For this, you will have to register. Make sure that you do that. CAT college predictor is there. A lot of students are asking, sir, this is my score. ये मेरा percentile है. मेरे को कौन सा college करना चाहिए? सर, ये college भरे नहीं भरे? Please, अगर आपको ये सारी चीजें जाननी है, because you are going to ask me XYZ college. I'm going to answer about XYZ college. But what about ABC college जिसके बारे में आप पूछ नहीं रहे? Right? So if you go to this particular place which says college predictor, you put in your scores. It will give you the percentile. It will tell you which all colleges you are eligible for. It will give you a very in-depth. It calculates everything very in-depth. कि आपका 10-12 graduation क्या रहा है, आपका profile कैसा है, and accordingly it gives you the result. So even the colleges that you are not aware of or you did not think that you are eligible for may turn out to be that you are eligible. ठीक है? And please be quick because the last date for colleges they are running out. तो आप ये मत पूछना कि सर इस कॉलेज का कब है, अभी आज ही जाके कर लो, रिजल्ट आ गया CAT का ऑलमोस्ट, राइट? Except for the percentile, everything else is known. And people who are still struggling with कि सर मेरा percentile कितना होगा, सर 90 not 90 सर 57 score है मेरा, 43 score है, सर 32 score है. You can go to the site on the app, दोनों जगह काम कर रहा है, score calculator and percentile predictor. Okay, all of that is given in the description as well as in the chat. And join us every day at 7 p.m. for Snap 2023 crash course. Okay, and do not forget to check out our social media handles and pages. Thank you everyone. Right now I will check out the chat. So Hemant says 998 male engineer CAT. This Hemant, I doubt that is true. I mean, ये काम करेगा, ठीक है? But please do check out calculator and percentile predictor. SIBM Bangalore is very good, Avinash. Please go try for that college. 59 marks in slot 2 under this category. What could be the chances? Very good chances. Saktivel, good chances. 59 is a good score. Okay. So 59 is the score. You can improve it by 3 marks. As far as I think 62, 63 could be your scale score if 59 is your raw score. So 62, 63 I think will fetch you definitely in the range of 95 के आसपास. ठीक है? Fine. So that's all for today. Thank you everyone. I'll see you again with Snap session today at 7 p.m.